save the world. If we knew the blood came from there, we would save the world. From its emptiness and hopelessness, we are the only ones who save the kids. Only we can save the world.
The black city's defined, the black on black crime is only a factor to black folk who lack mind. Get your mind in check before you get your kind checked. The revolution ain't immune to your old mindsets. Your revelation seeks illumination. Our reservations to react where the rats seek the preservation of the status quo where black folk lack the most. From rags to bold, show I'm passionate to crack the code and crack the skull of your coat where your crossbones meet. We ain't the same as those past generations be. Ready for action, influenced by truth. Enemies collapsing with king in the booth or on the tube, or challenging academia in the media. Writing sonnets or draft studies, don't know what's easier. Verse words in first person, I achieve without a curse word or purse person. How you do it then? Big house built before my words were influencing. This crowd filled before I killed with the music tip. This our world and we're the true in them. So I carry this cross like Jim Waste to show you that we will win.
If you knew what you were made of, then we would save the world. If we knew the blood we came from, then we would save the world. From its emptiness and hopelessness, we are the only ones who save the kids. Only we can save the world.
As those who would violently claim dominance prove themselves ill-equipped for sustainability, plunging this world into a darkness never before chronicled in what is left of man's historical record. What became apparent was that the remaining swarthy seed of the indigenous, once scorned, perhaps for the sins of their fathers, were in fact the ones in possession of the Holy Grail, the royal blood required to unite our woven species, delivering peace and a unity forgotten to the longevity of our suffering. The problem is, most are entirely unaware that they possess this gift, this unique ability to save a dying world.
If you knew what you were made of, then we would save the world. If we knew the blood we came from, then we would save the world. From its emptiness and hopelessness, we are the only ones who save the kids. Only we can save the world.
Hello. I think my mic is on. Give me a one if you can hear me okay. Let me get my cam on as well. It's been a little while. Excellent. How's everyone doing? Really quite excited to be on the stream. I know it's been a very, very long time, embarrassingly long. But you just have to take my word for it. I have been busy. And it's great to see you all here. How many have we got? I've got to figure out how to like sort myself out now, to reconfigure myself and doing live streams. It's been such a long time. It's like starting again and learn to ride a bike. 18 here. That's cool. It was very last minute. I literally just organized it less than half an hour ago. So thank you, those of you who have joined me. And I appreciate your understanding, Patrina. I want to give a shout out to Raccoon Slayer, first of all, who's already donated $5. So I appreciate you, brother. I'm assuming you're a brother. He said, did you take a lot of photos of these different artifacts? Let me answer that question with this. I decided I was going to rather than stream from my phone like I did last time, or the first part of this Cairo Museum visit, I was like, let me just drag all the photos off my phone just for the Old Cairo Museum. So this is just a 1 day visit, mind you, and only the first half, because I only got one half in the first day, and then I got the other half in the second day. 1,025 photos. I'll write that down for you. I don't even know how I took that much, but now I'm realizing. Before I was like, there's something wrong with my phone, because like it always dies when I go on these museum trips, and what's wrong with my stupid phone? And I like will charge it 2 or 3 times with a portable charger. 1,025 photos. We're not going to get through them all today, as you can imagine. But that's how many I took just at the Cairo Museum, and that wasn't even my complete visit. That was like a 2/3 visit of the Cairo Museum. So yeah, I take a lot of photos. I didn't realize how many I took until I was trying to upload them onto my PC, and it was like, this will take 1 hour 45 minutes to complete. So yeah, a lot of photos, man, a lot of photos. Crazy. But there you go. So you know what the backstory is there. The thing is, yeah, I was tired, but at the same time, I love doing it. I'm not gonna lie, I do love like museum visits, especially when I'm seeing stuff that excites me, and I think that kind of provides me with the adrenaline to keep going, because I'll see something and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm seeing this in real life. So you know, there you go, there you go. Oh, Joy, don't worry, we'll catch up later. I know not everyone can make it, and I was very late with this update, but yeah, there you go. So a few updates before we get started. We kind of get into it. I don't intend for this live stream to go on too long, but also I'm not gonna kind of like rush to get it done in an hour, just simply for the fact that I haven't done a live stream in such a long time. So I think I'll just keep going until the hour gets unreasonable, or until the until it just feels like I'm tired and it's dragging on a bit. So we'll kind of just like play it by ear. But I don't have any immediate needs to close it down after a certain amount of time. So some of you be happy to hear that, others of you will be like, oh, for God's sake. So yeah, you know, half and half. So let's do some housekeeping before we get started. First of all, the track you heard playing at the start, it's called Save the World. It is available on streaming platforms. Okay, and I would love it if you guys all streamed it and downloaded it. Okay, I'm going to put the banner back up again actually, so you guys can see what name to search. It's King Mono with an X. Okay, that's the name that I've decided to release new music under. So Save the World, King Mono, streaming on all platforms. Please feel free to download it if you like the track, that is. And I do have other tracks coming out, and I promise you, actually, they are better. Music is a massive passion of mine, so it was nice to kind of like be able to pick it back up again. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the track, and just let me know if you do. That'd be good. So yeah, thank you. RJC's added to his playlist. So that's really good to hear. Yeah, stream it, guys. Stream the hell out of it, man. Stream the hell out of it, man. Do you know what I mean? I need that. I need that, man. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, appreciate y'all. I can't sing, to answer your question, the Black Sea production. Okay, I can rap, as you can imagine. But yeah, I can't sing to save my life. So yes, there's a featured artist on there. All right. Boom. Let's keep it going. Oh, so other housekeeping news. I'm assuming all of you would have by now, because I've been going on and on about it. But my new video documentary that I released, I hope you've all watched it. If you haven't, oh, look at this. I've got a cool new feature now as well. Check this out. So if I press control, see that? See that little boop, boop? Yeah, that's my little new feature now, so you guys can see where I'm pointing the cursor. I also got a giant cursor, so it looks a bit bigger when I'm doing these live streams, and I put a trail behind it. So now you guys should see where I'm dragging my cursor when we're doing these live streams. And if you can't ever find my cursor, I'll just press this little button. Whoop, whoop. So that really excited me. Windows features. Anyway, my new documentary, Egypt's Insane Megastructure Project. Okay, it's about the Serapeum of Saqqara. It took me ages, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It took me it's on Apple Music already. The Black Sea Productions. I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% sure it's on all streaming platforms, although I'll double check. I think it's on Apple Music. I know it's on Spotify, YouTube Music. I think it's on Apple Music. I'll confirm that before the end of the live stream. I'll open up another stream Another screen, sorry. But yeah, let me just ask you all to watch this, please, this documentary. It took me ages, and I'd love it if you all kind of like engaged with it, watched it, share it, please, as much as you can. Create a post of it on your YouTube channel, even if you haven't got any subscribers or followers. It's just a good way of getting it circulated out, and hype it as much as you can. But yeah, I'd love for this to get lots of views, and obviously it would help me a lot if it gets a lot of views as well. So yeah, please engage with it as much as possible. So yeah, there's that, the new documentary. Let's actually see how I did a little poll, 91 votes. Not sure how many people saw this poll, but let's see what the results are. So 51% said they hadn't watched it, but they're clicking the link that I provided. 1% said I've seen it but haven't clicked, not too interested in topic. That's fair enough. And 47% said I've already watched it and liked it. So it's like half and half, really. Half and half hadn't watched it but will, and the other half said they have already watched it and they liked it. And yeah, not too many haters, which is always nice to see. Normally haters will like, the hater kind of option that I always put in there will normally like creep up to about 7% by the end of a poll, but this one is staying relatively low, so that's cool. Yeah. Hey Wildflower, how you doing? So there's that. Also, here's another bit of a reach out for you guys. I've got another channel which I think you guys will be aware of, called the King Mono Show. Now, when I first launched this channel, it was going to be kind of like low effort content, just kind of like doing lots of different topics. But what I found was, in my early videos, I was still putting a lot of effort into them, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. So like some of these early videos I did were still taking me a long time, and I'm like, well, what's the point in doing these if they're taking as long as the first channel and I'm covering the same topic? So I've done a bit of a pivot, and now on this channel I'm just doing React content. So all I do literally is React content, and my kind of challenge I'm setting myself is to update or to upload near enough daily. So I've been, so let me click on that. So I should say updates to, go back. Sorry. So I've nearly been sticking to that. I haven't quite been sticking to it, but I've nearly been sticking to it. So there's one, this one went up today. This one went up yesterday. Well, actually, let me go to the channel and show you. Or go to videos. Here we go. So yeah, look, this one went up today, yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago. Yeah, so there you go. So I've almost been uploading every day to this channel, and I'm just doing it's just React content. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, this kind of content. But if you want more kind of like content from me, kind of interactions, doing this content doesn't really affect what I'm doing on, in terms of my writing and my other channels. It's because it doesn't really take that much effort, but it's still, I try to cover stuff that's relatively fun, and the content isn't that long as well. So the videos range from about 20 minutes to 40 minutes, although the last one I did was 50 minutes, but about 20 minutes to 40 minutes is kind of like the goal length for this React content. And I'm just trying and upload daily. I need some more subscribers. At the moment, I'm on 1,700 subscribers, and I want it to hit 2K. So if you could subscribe just as a favor to me, I wouldn't reject your subscription. I'd probably say thank you. And you might be pleasantly surprised, and you might actually like the content. I think a few people have said they like it. Wild says that, I'm sure she just said she liked the content. Did she delete the comment? No, there you go. She said it. Wait, no. Who said they liked the channel? I'm sure someone said that. Oh, there you go. Wildflower said, I like that channel as well. So, there you go. A little bit of a cosign. All right. So yeah, please subscribe to that channel. Also, here's a big reason why I need you to subscribe. I've noticed like the videos that I get a lot of views in, when I say a lot on this channel is like anything over 1,000 views, because these aren't getting like loads of views, but it's still something. But when I get like a lot of views on a particular video on this channel, it tends to come with a lot of trolls. And I don't like what the crowd that some of the videos are attracting. And that's not because I've not changed my outlook or my views or anything like that, but I think it's just certain keywords that people are looking for will attract certain people like flies to shit. So yeah, I could do with when I'm on the in the comment section. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I miss my community, man. I wish there was some more. I wish there was some more of the TKM community to whoop some ass. So yeah, feel free to jump in and provide some support to the King Mono show. Like I said, it's daily content. So if those of you who are like, oh, you haven't done a live or you haven't uploaded recently, this, that, and the other, if you got no excuse if you haven't subscribed to this channel. Yeah. So there's that. King's Monologue. I think that was it. And then, yeah, to answer the question of my very generous donor, Raccoon Slayer, about the artifacts. So he asked me a question about, did you take loads of photos and are you going to put them in a book? I've got no immediate plan to put them in a book. However, I am working right now with the my website administrator, Wesker, who's sometimes here, but he's not here today, Wesker Willie, about basically all of my museum visits, making them available on the website. Now, as you can imagine, taking 1,025 photos and making that available on a single web page, that web page would never load. So we're not going to do that, but we're just figuring out a way of abbreviating the museum visits or splitting them up and then making them available on the website so that people can view the images and also read some of my interactions as captions to the images. Now, this does take a little bit of work, us kind of like coordinating, and it takes a bit of tech to kind of like get this off the ground in a way that's digestible. So just bear with us, but that's coming very, very soon. So if you're not already kind of like aware, the website address is tkm.edu. Sorry, tkmedu.com. Let me just quickly pop that in the chat so you're all aware of it. Okay. And we'll be updating that very soon with links. With the museum visits and those images, because we've already identified, obviously, making those images that I've taken available to the general public. Because some of those images or artifacts I've taken, I can't find them online. You know, like I think I posted the other day the statue of Sahure. The only available one of that statue online. I did a let me just put it on the screen, actually, my reconstruction of Sahure that I shared with you guys recently. In fact, I might show you the Instagram version because that's got slightly better images. If Instagram lets me open from here. Let's have a look. See. Instagram.com/kingsmono. If you're not subscribed to me on Instagram, by the way, I think I'm still under 3,000 followers and I'm totally suppressed on that platform. So if you don't subscribe to me, you'll never find me. Here we go. So, oh, shut up. I don't want to sign up. Okay, 1 second. Let me just got to open this in the window that I'm actually signed in on. Let me try this. Okay, there you go. I'm signed in on this one. So let's. All right, so I'm going to bring this across. Here we go. All right, so I don't know if who saw this or didn't see this, but I did a reconstruction of Sahure. Well, I was very happy with this reconstruction, by the way. And let me just quickly scroll. How do I scroll? Oh, okay, here. This statue here was only available as a black and white image, really low res. But since then, they've brought this statue to the Grand Egyptian Museum, and I was able to get some really high-res images of it. And those high-res images allowed me to revise, to update my reconstruction of Sahure, which now I'm really, really happy with. I'm not going to lie. I'm really happy with it because I feel like it's consistent with both of his depictions. So this is like a reconstruction that I'm really happy with now. So there he is with his pharaonic Nemes headdress on, okay, and there he is without, and with his hair just in the Kemetic short twist, the corkscrew curls, or whatever you want to call it. But I think it's just, and it shows how actually this is really consistent with this. So you can see what the features would have looked like before the nose and the lips were tampered and removed. So I think that was I think they're nice and consistent with each other. And there you go, there's a nice close up. And I think that's a good likeness for Sahure, in my honest opinion. Actually, really, really pleased with this. It was a revision of a previous reconstruction that I'd already done with Sahure, but I think this kind of like just brought it all together for me. So yeah, very, very happy with this one. Okay. So that being said, let's get started for today. For today's stream. Boom. Let me just do a bit of cleaning up here. Okay. And I'll get my image on the screen. So my first live stream that I did on the subject of the Cairo Museum ended with the image I'm about to start with, which was Amenhotep, son of Hapu. Okay, so this is where we ended up. And one good thing is my PC's updated about 16 times since our last live stream. And I think one of the update features is that my photos browser works again, which is great. Look, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can go left and right, and there's not much issue. It's doing it really well. So there you go. That's a really big deal. And thank you for those of you who are complimenting the reconstruction. But anyway, had this image of Amenhotep, son of Hapu. I really like these depictions of Amenhotep, son of Hapu. I think he's got a very distinctive regional look about him. Yeah, in my view, very, very much indisputably. I mean, this man looks straight out of Uganda. If I'm gonna be giving my honest answer. Very distinctive features, and he's actually quite a common feature. He's very well, for someone who wasn't a king, he's actually incredibly well represented. So it makes you think that there's something more something more to him than perhaps just being the scribe. I think there's, I don't know, he's just incredibly well depicted in the artwork. So there's a full length picture of Amenhotep, son of Hapu. I'm just gonna kind of like go through, and I always try to get side views because I always thinking about eventually one day I know I'm going to visit this with a reconstruction. So that's why I'm always got a lot of discipline to capture front and side view and high res images, because I know one of these days this is going to serve me to do a reconstruction. So there's another depiction of him. Well, here it is. Let's have a quick read through what it says about him. So it says, Amenhotep, son of Hapu, was one of the most important officials during the reign of Amenhotep III. His life story is remarkable. He came from a humble background and grew up in the provincial town of Afrabis in the Nile Delta with his parents Itu and Hapu. He initially worked as a simple scribe for many years. It was not until he was around 40 that he entered royal service, and 10 years later was appointed directly to the royal court. There he enjoyed an astonishing career. He initially worked as a recruit clerk and was soon responsible for organizing the workforce in the royal quarries and along Egypt's border. As superintendent of all the king's works and royal master, builder and architect, he planned work on the temples of Karnak, Luxor and Western Thebes, which also included the transportation of giant colossal statues. A special mark of the king's appreciation was that he was allowed to organize the king's first Sed festival for the renewal of the royal reign. Amenhotep, son of Hapu, probably lived until the 36th year of the king's reign and died around the age of 80. So that's a good, decent innings he had there. Today, his tomb is believed to be located in Karnet Murai. Okay, he was proud on his extraordinary career and named himself an excellent scribe who could calculate everything. His close relationship with the king was also evident in the fact that he was able to act as sem-priest in the king's House of Gold and festival director of Amun. He was also entrusted with the construction of the royal temple of Amenhotep III in western Thebes, and even received permission to have a small temple built for himself next to it. In addition, numerous statues were erected for him, especially in the temple of Amun-Ra at Karnak. So yeah, very highly revered, extremely highly revered scribe. It sounds like he was kind of crossed over to being slightly a bit of a priest and a general as well. So yeah, a lot going on there. So this is interesting because we just read there that he didn't come under the king's service until he was 40. And I think this is a statue of him when he was younger. Yeah. So this would be interesting when, if he started, why would they have a statue of him? 7 life-size statues of this important official were found in Temple of Amun. Well, many people came to them hoping for help against illnesses. This statue is one of them and was placed together with the second one near the last statue. It presents Amenhotep, son of Hapu, as a young scribe sitting on the ground with an open papyrus roll. So maybe they depicted him young, but he wasn't young, is what they're claiming there. So they depicted him young, but yeah, he was older when they made the statue. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm not sure how much of there's of a protocol there is for depicting the kings as younger than, or even anyone as younger than they actually were. But I'm just speculating here. Just interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with this. Someone's going to put this on the screen as well. That whole rubbish they give people about life expectancy, when they're talking about, oh, life expectancy has gone up exponentially. Remember, I always talk about the fact that Europeans socialize or democratize their weaknesses and privatize their strengths. You have to always remember that. So when they're talking about the fact that people only used to live, the life expectancy in the Middle Ages was between 20 and 30, they're talking about them. They're not talking about us. Okay. Africa has always had life expectancy in the, you know, what it is. Probably, I think the life expectancy is probably reduced in Africa since our introduction to Western ways of life and Western medicine and Western poison. I think it's reduced substantially, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think people used to routinely live. I've always speak about the fact that my great grandma lived until she was 123, allegedly. Now, me and my siblings used to have a good laugh at this because we didn't, you know, I told you we you know, we're disrespectful, this generation, you know, so we didn't really take my mum and granny seriously when they said this, but you know, I think there could have been truth to it, because even my grandma, my mum's mum, she didn't. My mum was really upset when she passed, but she passed in her 90s, you know, and it felt premature. It didn't feel like she. It felt like she, you know, there were things that happened in the family that contributed to the fact that she passed at that age, and it felt like she could have gone on for a lot longer, you know. So yeah, I agree with that statement, and I agree with that sentiment as well. Anyway, we have to move faster than this if we're going to get through 1,025 photos. So let me start zipping away. Next photo. So this photo, I had to take this for you guys. This is one of the many workshops, and actually when they saw me taking this photo, they quickly ran, oh, put it away, what are you doing? Yeah, they rushed me. Okay, they don't like people taking photos of them. They've got loads of these workshops. So just to show you, in the back here in this box, there's artifacts, and they are carting artifacts in and out at a rate of knots, and they're just working on everything. Okay, so everything, when I say to people, everything that has touched, you know, modern Egyptian soil has been tampered. This is what I mean. You know, they work on everything. They're cleaning, they're brushing, they're painting, they're doing the most constantly. And there was an artifact, I think, somewhere over here, and they're all kind of like around it, and it's just it's quite upsetting, if I'm going to be really totally honest with you. It's quite upsetting. yeah, that's all I can say. There's not really much more I can say in there, but I did want to kind of just capture it. I did capture a couple of other times as well, but I had to be very careful because I didn't want them to confiscate my phone or something like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think they do. They know what they're doing, and they know what when they don't let you take photos of certain artifacts. So, for instance, I'm going to do a live stream about another museum called the Museum of Egyptian Civilization, where I got to view mummies, all like loads of famous mummies. So now I've seen them, but they don't let you take photos of them because they know what the mummies look like, and they don't want people being able to control, or people like me being able to control the imagery of the mummies. We need to rely on these low resolution images that are on the web, you know. So they know what they're doing, because yeah, they know what they're doing. Let's just leave it at that. So let's carry on. Another artifact here, headless. I'm trying to think if I managed to get. By the way, in the old museum, the one that I'm in, this is the Old Cairo Museum. You get a lot of stuff that hasn't been attributed, i.e., they just kind of display it and they don't have a plaque next to it. So if we're going through here and I haven't taken a picture of a plaque kind of like immediately afterwards, it means one probably wasn't on display. There's only two possibilities: either one wasn't on display, or I knew what the artifact was, so I didn't need to take a picture of the plaque. But yeah. So this one, I think everyone's going to be familiar with who this character is. Answers in the chat. Actually, yeah, let me not be presumptuous. Answers in the chat. Who is this very familiar character? Let me see who hits me first with an answer. See who's got the best stream. Who's got the best ping on their stream. Yes, RJ. So excited you spot the name completely incorrectly, but I know you're trying to say Akhenaten. So this section that I've entered now is kind of like the Akhenaten Nefertiti section, and they kind of like take up a whole kind of like little kind of whole area on the ground floor. So there's these statues here, these stylized Akhenaten statues. There's like four of them. Four of these ones. I know there's other ones that are in different places around the world, but four of them are in this museum. And then there's various busts of Nefertiti as well. So you're going to see those shortly. But yes, this is the stylized one, and they're all in kind of slightly different condition. So this is a bust of Nefertiti, one that they'll never want to publicize. I believe that the lining around this bust is tampering. They do this a lot. All these kind of like black art. I don't believe that these are. I know these were found in the workshop of Thutmose, I believe, Thutmose's workshop, but I've always been very dubious about the scrappy highlighting, and they do this in an attempt to make it. Yeah, they just do this in an attempt to create contrast, so that it can look like the subject was lighter than they were. They do this a lot. But either which way, you can still see the shape and the form of the features of this bust of Nefertiti. Okay, even kind of like slightly unfinished and slightly worn down, you can see feature-wise, this is a massive leap from the Berlin bust that everyone's seen and we're kind of so everyone's so familiar with. And this is consistent with all of the busts of Nefertiti, aside from the Berlin one, which is the one that they like to advertise to the world, which is clearly not consistent and clearly a fake. By the way, shout out Trill Black. He's just done a documentary on Nefertiti. I'm slightly bitter because I've been working on a documentary about Nefertiti's bust now but I took too long to produce it. You know, I've actually got like original content from different visits to different places, and I just haven't put the documentary together. And being the workhorse that he is, Trill Black managed to put together a very excellent documentary. So now when I release mine, it'll just seem like I'm copying it. So yeah, shout out Trill Black for being quickest off the mark and producing a fantastic documentary about Nefertiti. I really enjoyed it. So I advise you all to watch that documentary. It's really good. I think I'll still do my documentary, but now it'll just be kind of like, sloppy seconds. But I'll still do it. Shout out Trill, like I said. So this has been classified as a bust of, I think, Akhenaten. But actually looking at this, I think there's a possibility this could be Tutankhamun. I think there's a possibility. I think this bust is slightly divergent from Akhenaten in that the mouth is a bit smaller than what we're used to with Akhenaten, which makes, and the cheeks are a slight bit larger. This is really consistent with Tutankhamun's phenotype, and sometimes these are misattributed. Sometimes these are misattributed. So there is a very real possibility that this isn't Akhenaten, and it could be Tutankhamun. But there you go. Look, I'm that's me just speculating once again. I could be absolutely wrong with that, but I'm just going based on phenotype. I get very used to what people look like, and this is giving me Tutankhamun vibes. If I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think we sound alike. I think we sound very different. I think you're just racist, Cyan. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think we sound very different. There you go. Anyway, regardless, what do I know? We're two black English Nigerian boys. So, let's keep it going. So I think this is a profile view of Nefertiti. Okay, just a little kind of reduced bust fragment, so to speak, or a stele fragment, I should say, not a bust fragment. And this one looks like a stele fragment of Akhenaten. So this is what I'm more used to of Akhenaten's phenotype. Even though it's stylized, he does have that. He has a few features that are really consistent. So first of all, he does have see his chin, the way it kind of like pokes downwards. That's actually consistent with, even with his bust that's made from the plaster cast mold. He has that chin that kind of reaches downwards. Okay. His mouth is very full, as we know, really full lips. And then he's got a very kind of like long but round tip nosed, Okay. This is very, very, very consistent with Akhenaten's phenotype. This is what I'm used to seeing from him. And there we go. That's Akhenaten again. Same thing that I was saying. Long, round tip nose, knobbly chin. I'll just say knobbly for the sake of it, and full lips. So this is like very much, yep, this is 101 Akhenaten. Let me zoom in there a bit for you guys so you can see that. Very, very standard Akhenaten phenotype there. And there we go. Here's a nice stylized bust of Akhenaten. Now, once again, I'll stress that these are stylized in that we have a plaster cast bust of Akhenaten, and we know that the features have all been just slightly slightly exaggerated on these, just to kind of like accentuate his look. So I do believe these are stylized. I think I tried to make a reconstruction of this and I couldn't make it look like a real person. But then when I made his plaster cast bust into a reconstruction of him, then I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. In fact, let me I wonder if I've got my latest reconstruction of Akhenaten here to show you guys. This isn't my latest, but this is version 2. I'm going to pop it on the screen regardless, just so you guys can get a feel for where I think version 2 is not my last, but I think it stands and it can still work quite well. So let me let me drag it to the desktop here. Actually, one second, guys. Let me just I think I might have a more recent version. That'd be annoying. I know where to look. Sorry, guys. I'll be with you in just a second. Here we go. All right, this one's a bit busy. I'm just showing this for my open with, here we go, photos. Yeah, so this is it. So this is my version 2. It's not my latest, but I think it still stands as a decent. So this is what I'm depicting, and this is based on his plaster cast mold. So this is like a 1-to-1 in terms of feature sizes, everything from this eye shape, nose shape, lips, everything. This is what he looks like in this plaster cast mold. So this is what I'm seeing every time, even with the stylized artwork. This is realistic, this is stylized, but you can, and as you can see, in my view, they still very much depict what is the same person. Yeah, I still think they are a depiction of the same person, regardless. Okay, you can see I've done a kind of like a version of the cat crown here, which is kind of like that hair bonnet style crown. But you can see, to me, that's just the same person. This is stylized, but you can see how they got this stylized version from this original version, or from this original face. So yeah, just wanted to kind of like share that with you guys quickly. That was it. Let's carry on. So is this a different, that same one? This is the same one. So this is a different one. This is number 3. Okay, so I've shown you 3 of these. Remember I said there was 4 in total. So once again, stylized bust. This one's missing the bottom half, but the top half is very much the same. And then I think the 4th one, and here's the 4th one, which is probably in the best condition. And I love the fact that he's wearing the cut crown. So that's the crown that I literally just showed you guys. So you can see this is a hair bonnet, which holds some kind of a natural afro hairstyle. Only African natural afro hair will be able to fill up a crown of this shape and size. It's full and it's voluminous from front to back. Okay. And this is, yeah, this is our depiction of Akhenaten. Okay, so that's the 4th statue. Quick question. So, History of Africa's asked, did you visit the Blacks of the South? I haven't, but I intend to on my next visit. So I think my next visit might be early next year, and I intend to go to Luxor and Aswan and spend some good time with the people down there. But I didn't manage to do it in that visit. Oh yeah, thanks for asking. All right, so let's move on. And these are some side views, so you can see once again the exaggerated version, but you can still get an idea of how they took that kind of like they took his actual natural face and created this kind of accentuated version. I've got some good angles there. This is another bust of Nefertiti. And once again, you have to try and appreciate these busts without these later tampering. Yeah, these black marks, these drawing marks, this is all tampering. This is all tampering. One of the reasons nose tampering as well is they tried to color the lips in. So they put like, red on the lips and stuff like that. It's kind of like, respectfully, if Nefertiti had red lips and this color skin, then why is that not represented in any of the hundreds of steles we have of her? Why is she always depicted in a very deep dark brown, the same color as Akhenaten? Why is they never give her red lips on her steles? This is being tampered with. Okay, so that then can just lean or encourage you to just focus on the features and get a good idea of what her face looked like. Actually, got a nice reconstruction of Nefertiti as well. I wonder if that's on my machine. I did a recent reconstruction that I shared with you guys, and it's based on this bust, which is why I think it would actually be quite relevant to show you that now. If I can find it, I wonder if I've got it on here. I hope I do. I should do, actually. It's the front cover of my book. So let me go to my book. I'll just show you that version of stone. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, here we go. System we go to. Okay. The reconstruction I'm going to show you is a bit of a half and half, unfortunately, because the other one's on my phone, and I'm not doing the whole rigmarole of dragging it from my phone to blah blah blah. So I'm just going to quickly show you what I've got here. So let me just open with photos. So this is a half and half, but it's based on this bust, so it should give you a good idea. Oh, where's she gone? There we go. So let's move it to the side. So there you go. So that's the half and half, showing you the face of Nefertiti. So this is kind of like where I'm leaning towards in terms of what her face looked like. And bear in mind, like I said, this bust, when it was created, wouldn't have had these silly markings on them, would have been shown the true form. So this is how I envision Nefertiti to look. I've also got a version of her actually with short hair that looks quite cool as well. So let me just quickly show that here. This is the version with short hair. I quite like that. It makes it look like a model. So yeah, there's a good. I think that's a good look for Nefertiti. I think Nefertiti looks definitely. She has that kind of like Cushitic vibe. So I'm landing either in Somalia, like someone said, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, but also there's a slight southern. My other one that's based on the other bus looks slightly more towards the Nguni region, but it's definitely east, southeast, somewhere in that super location. I'm placing her. But yeah, this is the vibe I got from this bust. Yeah, that's that. Let's carry on. Boom, boom, boom. So there's the bust from side view, and you can see where the crown was supposed to go. Once again, this is just, to me, it's really clearly been tampered in my view. And then Akhenaten, not looking so slim here, more naturalistic version. This one, by the way, I'm going to be really clear with you. I think this has been tampered. When I zoomed in on this, there's very little of this that I think is original, because I started looking at this and I was like, what's going on here? Okay. If this is an original fragment and this is an original fragment, does that mean the entirety of this is the imagination of? And when I looked at the face as well, I was like, So I started looking around and it looks like this entire bust, apart from these fragments that are here, which are limestone, it looked like the rest of this statue is plaster. So obviously, if you know, if it's a plaster statue, then it's not Kemetic. They didn't do statues in plaster. This is one of the things they don't discuss. So when ancient Egyptians didn't make any statues in plaster or stucco. Stucco was used on top of wood, such as the mannequin of Tutankhamun. That is wood and stucco. They didn't use wood. They didn't use stucco on stone. They only used stucco on stone when they used to do steles, to when they kind of like they'd gone over an old stele, okay, or old bas relief. They might cover it with stucco and then put something new in there. Okay, that's the only time they used stucco, but they didn't use stucco to make busts. Busts and statues were exclusively monolithic. They had a very strict rule. Okay, you get a fresh piece of stone and you make what you're making. It could be limestone, could be grinded out, whatever it is, but you make it out of the stone. They didn't smear stucco, and this is one of the reasons why we know the bust of Nefertiti in the Berlin bust is fake, because it's the only stucco bust, I think, in ancient Egypt. It's literally the only statue that has a big fat chunky layer of stucco on top. Plaster is the tool of modern artists who could not hack it in the time of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptian artists used stone. Yeah, to be very, very, very clear. Ancient Egyptian artists carved into stone. All the busts I've shown you of Nefertiti so far, they're all limestone or granite. Okay, or some kind of hard stone. They're not stucco. This is plaster. And so I'm going to straight away towards the fact that this is something that has been concocted. When I saw it, I was like, there's something going on there. So you can see it here. And, you know, in fairness, it does have a consistency, well, like I said, with the phenotype of Akhenaten, but I don't understand what part of it is real and what part isn't. I can see a fragment here, a fragment here, a fragment here, a fragment here, but that is, what is the rest of this? This is clearly not all one thing. And I'm not going to co-sign something that is the imagination of, you know, forgers. So it doesn't look like much of this is original. You can kind of see there's not much of this statue that is original, which then makes you question, you know, was this his self? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks I had over this, and obviously they didn't have once again they didn't provide, and none of the Egyptologists knew the answer to that question, because that's not the type of question that people normally ask, you know. Let's read this. Statue of King Akhenaten, who ruled Egypt for about 70 years. He is bearing an offering table. He changed the state cult of Amun-Ra to that of Aten, we've heard that before, and moved the capital from Thebes to a new one in Middle Egypt that is now called Tel El Amarna. The statuette was found in the house of Tel El Amarna, suggesting that its function was to magically be a substitute for the pharaoh, who was essential for religious rites connected with Aten. After the break-in at the museum on January 28th, the offering table was found broken and in the museum, but the statue had been stolen. It was returned to the museum on February 20th, 2012. So it's limestone apparently, but I'm looking at this and this is not, this doesn't, I don't know, man. Ooh, I'm confused. That's my exact answer there. You know, I like to know what I'm looking at that's original and what I'm looking at as tampered, and this is either been heavily tampered, or a lot of it isn't original. So this is a very typical stele of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Like I said, always depicted in a very strong and deep brown, the pair of them, even though they've rubbed away at Nefertiti. Here's what's interesting about this one as well. If you look just at the mouth, okay, where it looks like they've done, I think they've done some lip reduction here. Okay, they didn't like the way the lips were projecting. The reason I say that is because if you look, Nefertiti has the same thing, this kind of weird scratching and smudging outside of her mouth. So to me, that's an effort to hide protruding lips. If I just zoom out, you guys can see how these two marks just stand out on a stele that's otherwise clean. For some reason, we got all this smudging and smearing around where the mouth is, and that to me is just an attempt to reduce the projection of the lips. And that would be very kind of typical of the kind of things that I've seen here. So there's another one, Akhenaten and Nefertiti. And someone says, see the child. Let's go back. Ah, yeah. Got child of Akhenaten and Nefertiti there. Once again, the head. Facade of a shrine. So I think that's what we just looked at. The one before was the facade of a shrine. And then this one, which shows a kind of unfinished statue. It looks like it's a kiss. So it says statue of Akhenaten with his wife Kia. Okay, so this is when his wife Kia. Although this statue is unfinished, it's one of the masterpieces of this period. It depicts Akhenaten holding his second wife Kia on his knee. The king sits on a stool wearing the blue crown capreche. His wife wears a wig. Who said it was a wig? And has her head turned affectionately. I love the way they just love to assume wig. Why would you assume that that's a wig? There's no Egyptological evidence, nothing in the anthropology, nothing to support that this is a wig, other than the fact that they've decided that that's the narrative for any hair that is too big to be passed off as European. It's hilarious, man. Everyone's liking the way Akhenaten's moving in this. Yeah, let's keep it moving. It says nice little pic there. Papyrus plants. So move on. So like, this is a depiction of the lotus and the papyrus representing Upper and Lower Egypt. Then we have another stele here of, I believe, Akhenaten again, but with his hair in twists instead. It's a bit of a fragment, and once again, it's had substantial tampering here, just general tampering along the face. And this one here, I'm not sure if it's a duplicate, but there's definitely a version of this in the Berlin Museum that I have another pic of. This is almost this exact scene. So I'm not sure which one is the original. And I also don't know why my picture came out so garbage on this one. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe my next pic looks better than this. Wow, camera was really struggling. It must have been a low light situation because, yeah, normally my pic camera's better than this. But you can see them with all their children. So you can see 3 of their children here. It's actually a really nice family pic. Depiction of Aten. And this is a kind of like a Egyptological debate that I kind of am raging within my own mind, because it's always been accepted that Ra is the sun, but in my mind, Aten is the sun, and actually Ra was never the sun. I actually think that's an error of Egyptology. I will prove that one day. But I think Aten is a representation of the sun. I don't think Ra is a representation of the sun. I think it's a representation of the womb. I spoke about that in relation to the Kepra, the scarab. So this is shrine stela with the royal family. Sometimes the plaques don't have any value and I just skip over them. Another side view of the stylistic statue. This is another depiction of Akhenaten. Okay. Another depiction of Akhenaten. He has a few in it where his face is this style. So this isn't the only one. So I'm scrolling through slowly so you guys can see these different depictions of him. You can see this one, even though we don't have the head, we definitely already have a more naturalistic depiction of the body. Okay, and that's all of them together. Now this prisoner of war, when I see this hairstyle now, I know will be someone who's Libu or Ribu, i.e. someone from the Libyan area. And when I see this hairstyle now, I just instantly think Fulani. So I think this is someone who phenotypically, or I should say ethnically or ethnographically, would have belonged to that kind of like the Fuller region of North Africa. I think that's a Fulani thing, that big side twist. And so that's what I associate it with now. And so this is a prisoner of war, okay? Not a slave, to be very clear. That whole slavery narrative is something that racists and Egyptologists have run away with. But actually, a lot of what has been described as being slavery is not slavery. It's just literally people being taken prisoner. And this looks like someone from it looks like what could be a bow there. So I'd assume someone from Tarseti, maybe a depiction of a soldier from Tarseti. And here's another bust. I'd assume from feature set. This looks like it's once upon a time would have been Nefertiti once again, I would have guessed. This is quite consistent with other depictions we have of Nefertiti. I'll zoom in so you guys can see that. You guys know this is definitely a stylized Akhenaten, unmistakable. It looks like this one, he's got the large twisted hairstyle. We've only got a fragment of it, but that's interesting. What's interesting here as well, that looks like a double uraeus, which should instantly make you think about the that was favored by the 25th dynasty, the Kushite dynasty. So we don't see the double uraeus often. Most of the time we see the falcon and the uraeus, but in this case we got the double. This looks like it would have been a double uraeus. This bust here, once again, is that a Nefertiti? Not sure. Not sure what that one is. That could be a Nefertiti again. All of these were pretty much either Nefertiti or Akhenaten, pretty much. So this is a fragment from the shrine of Queen T. So these 3 planks are the remains of a shrine that was a gift from Akhenaten to his mother, Tayer. The shrine is made out of wood and a layer of gesso and gold leaf. The decorations were carved on the gesso. The plank on top has the remains of the cartouches of Akhenaten that were erased. So just to have a look, there you go. This is what we're talking about here. This move on. So one of the children of Akhenaten, once again, we do have a slightly confusing element of the original versus the made up. So these brown parts here appear to be the made up parts. I mean, they could have, I don't know. See, the part of me says they could have tried to match it better, but then the other part of me says I want to know the fake parts or the parts that weren't original. So I'm actually happy when they don't match. Do you know what I mean? But either which way, I think the one thing we can agree is that this is an African child. That's an easy part, isn't it? Okay. So this would be one, I believe this is one of the daughters. And someone said it looks like Nefertiti. I would say that's yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. But I'm pretty sure this is one of the daughters of Nefertiti here. There's a nice close-up for you. Very, very, very clearly African features. Here's another one. Once again, I really do prefer when they haven't been tampered with these black markings. I find them annoying. I feel like there's been some subtle work done around this nose as well. They do like to do a lot of contouring. I've noticed when I'm there, a lot of contouring and then repainting. So when I see a nose that looks slightly more solid in color than the rest, it makes me think that they've contoured and then applied a matching color paint to make it look like they haven't contoured. They do that a lot. That is, this museum is rife with that kind of tampering. They do a lot, particularly in the Grand Egyptian Museum as well. I was like, oh my god, they've just literally just subtly contoured and tampered almost everything. And one of the easiest, actually, and you're going to see this not so much in this bust. This one's not too bad at all. In fact, it's almost ignorable on this one. But what you'll find when we go to see later statues and busts is when it's being contoured, you'll know, because the detail is really, 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 really sharp. It looks like someone's just gone at it yesterday with a knife. And it's kind of like, you know, that if something had been there for, we're talking about Old Kingdom sometimes. If this had been just even the corrosion from the air, the erosion from the air would have just caused those very, very, very fine crevices and lines to just fade and to soften. And you'll look at our statue and it's all soft, but the nose is super sharp. And I'm like, you guys have just been out here tampering. Just been out here tampering, haven't you? So they do it a lot. So I think this is is that the same or different one? No, this is a different one. This is a different bust. Different bust, but still wonderful, full African features on this one. Beautiful. I hate the black eyeliner, but see it there. And that's a really nice angle there. Really beautiful bust there. Just want to give you a bit of time to have a look at that. And another angle. Hope you guys are appreciating the high resolution. Yeah. Hope you look at. Hope you guys are appreciating. Yeah. Samsung S20. Yeah. Samsung S20. Yeah. Top tier photography skills going on here. Yeah. Hope you guys appreciate this. Thank you. I just said I appreciate the HD. I said, yeah. I mean, you should. I mean, look at the HD. Look at the HD, guys. Look at the HD. This is a key point as well. Someone mentioned Nefertiti's earring as well. Nydia did a really fantastic bit of research to show that not only did the ancient Egyptians regularly wear earrings, but the women wore earplugs that we see amongst the Omotic tribe today. You know, there's really large earplugs like those discs. And I've actually got a really nice picture because she did a reconstruction of one of those busts. And I actually have the bust she did a reconstruction of that has the giant earplug. And that was such a nice little find in terms of cultural continuity. That was a beautiful find. And I really appreciated that. So we'll come on to that in the later images. Here's a beautiful side view. Perfect profile view here. Now, obviously, the question mark's going to be head shape versus hair shape. Those of you who know me know that my argument is that this is hair shaping as opposed to head shaping. So I believe that this is just a depiction of the hairstyle and tradition, of which we have the closest relative I can think of is a style and tradition called it's not Amazons, it's called, they do it in Rwanda. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Oh gosh, I'll bring up the name. I can't remember the name. No, it's not Isikola, that's South African. It's okay, forget it. Let me bring up an example of it anyway. So those of you who've seen my hair documentary, you'll know where I stand on this subject. Boom, boom, boom. Quickly just share something with you guys. So this is Queen Rosalie Gicanda, and this is what I believe. And bear in mind, she's royalty as well. So this is a cultural continuity. So I don't know why my window's doing that madness. It's so annoying. My goodness me. We shrink down. Stupid thing. Oh my gosh, this is so irritating. Oh my gosh, it just continues to extend. This is just trying to wind me up. I swear. Stop being stupid. Wow, this is not working. Okay. Flipping stupid. Sorry. Sometimes Windows just like really just like says, I'm gonna make you hate me today. My God. Okay, let me try and drag that in now and see if I get in luck. Here we go. That was a flipping. Okay. So this is what my thoughts are around it. I think that it's a depiction of hair shaping tradition. Okay, so I think that originally, obviously, when they found this, would have been entirely uncolored. But I think when this was made, it was made with the impression of either just being covered, perhaps, with some kind of a fabric, and then shaped around it, or being colored like hair. But I think this wasn't. You weren't ever supposed to see this part. I think this part was supposed to be covered with a fabric, because I believe when they did the hair shaping tradition, it was covered with the fabric, and that fabric shape is what dictated what the crown looked like. Okay, so that's kind of like my thoughts there. So yeah, let me I can close that down now. And remember, we are talking about a lineage of continuation when it comes to Rwandan royal family as well, because they have the records that they were descendants of the 19th dynasty. So there's always that as well. So there's another side of these busts and another side of another bust. This is the one that's kind of like been partially restored in places. You can just see very African looking princess. Oops, let me get my stream up. Okay, so we come on. Now this looks like it will be 19th dynasty, and that's going to be either Ramesses or one of his sons, but I think this might be Ramesses. Let me have a look if I've got a plaque for this. But in terms of stylization of the hair, definitely getting 19th dynasty vibes here. There's actually a 3-dimensional version of this kind of like multiple Uraeus crown, which is really cool. I can't remember where I captured it. I know I've got an image of it, but I can't remember where exactly. You know, the funny thing is, this person here who made this comment, none of the Nile Valley princesses are wearing a hijab. I know you're being tongue-in-cheek when you said that, but it's actually really important to note as well the total lack of like head coverings, hair coverings when it came to ancient Kemet. The only person that covered their hair were the royalty. It's really important that people kind of like note that. Okay, the only people covering their hair in ancient Kemet were the royalty. So the kings and the queens specifically, even the princes didn't cover their hair. And that will be very consistent with most, once again, African ethnicities, yeah, where the hair covering is more of a thing that is a tradition that came along with, don't know, does it predate the Abrahamic faiths? It certainly came with the Abrahamic faiths, but I don't know if it predates them. Okay, this is a complete kind of like hole made for the nose here. Sometimes I think when they made these like these type of shapes, because here's the problem. Someone tell me the issue with claiming that this is a result of iconoclasm. Someone tell me what's the issue here that this is a result of iconoclasm. Because this is one of the things, stuff like this makes the iconoclasm argument very invalid. And I want to see if anyone could tell me what the problem is. Expand on that, RJ, because you're on the right path. Expand on that. What's the kind of like problem of iconoclasm here? I think the biggest problem that they have is that this statue is made out of granite or granodiorite. Yeah. This is one of the hardest stones known to man. This is not like a soft stone, right? You can't make this hole with an iron tool, okay? You have to deliberately make a hole like this with and this wasn't smashed out, this was cut out, okay? If you smashed it, it would have just broke, yeah? But can you see that hole that's being created there? That's being cut out. So you'd need some kind of this would take ages. Do you understand? This is deliberate. I think this was taken out with the intention of replacing the nose, which would be the case sometimes. But at the end of the day, what we have is this would have taken a long process of removal. Okay? Like someone just said there's been an act of grinding here. This is my gut feeling says this has been done with a tool, because to do this with hand tools would take ages, literally ages. And this is where sometimes, if you just do a bit of critical thinking, the iconoclasm argument seems to fall apart in my view, particularly in examples like this. Let me zoom in to show you guys. This is literally a hole. Okay, making a hole in granite is a process. Okay, it's a definite process. Now, I'm not sure what the deal is with this one. It actually looks a bit Ptolemaic to me. Let me have a look and see where it was aged. Okay, didn't get it was unattributed, so I couldn't give you any feedback about what it was. But yeah, there's an issue there. I'm not sure what this one is either. Okay, so this is a sarcophagus. You can see there's like, yeah, interesting patterning on top going on there. This one was just really beautifully done. This is a beautiful sarcophagus. Look at this one, fully granite. That is phenomenal work there. They had quite a few like this as well, ones that were just kind of like quite breathtaking, to be honest with you. There might be a video coming next because it's taking a while to load. Sometimes with these ones, I take videos of them, kind of like going from top to bottom. I feel like it might be a video coming next because it's taking ages to load. Can I jump it? Yeah, it's a video. Over here it's playing super slow. I'm going to skip it. The intention was there. Okay, so I think this is the one that I just took a close-up of with the nose. See, okay, there is a little plaque there. I wonder if I managed to get a close-up of that plaque. There's a cartouche there. I can't make that out. It's just about not clear enough. Normally I would have taken a close-up photo of that. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I didn't see it. There's another one there. Can't see that, unfortunately. Sorry about that, guys. Someone said that, is that a kid? It can be, but sometimes they do smaller, kind of like deified versions, and that pose makes me think that this would have been a representation of this pharaoh as Ptah. I feel like that's the seated pose that we get with Ptah. So it might have been the pharaoh, and then the pharaoh represented as Ptah in front of him. Beautiful stele here. Ra ab BTT. Wait, TT. Ab Ra ab TT Ra ab TT. And this one's TT Mahep Ren Mahep Ptah. Actually, that's that. 1 second. Ptah Maren Ptah. Took me a long time to read that. This one says T. This one says T. Someone help me. It says TT. Well, actually, this is Ptah. I should be. Yeah, I think this one reads this way and this one reads this way. So I think this is Ptah Meren. So Meren Ptah. But I don't know what the TT is. So Meren Ptah TT. This is TTI or TTY or TT. So Meren Ptah. Someone says TT and then I don't know. But it's like TT Meren. This bottom half definitely says Meren Ptah or Ptah Meren. Yeah. So Meren Ptah is 90th. That'll be 90th dynasty, wouldn't it? I think it's Meren Ptah 90th dynasty. But then this is Ab Ra TT. I don't know what that is. TT Ab Ra. And there's a noob underneath. So it might be Meren Ptah or something like that. But look at the detail. Beautiful. Really lovely. Just, it's nice to see the odd ones. As even this one, I'm not sure it's completely unscathed and untampered, but it's definitely closer than we get with most artifacts. This is just inside of a granite sarcophagus. This is an outer box. Zoom on, carry on. So this is a photo that I captured, guys. This is actually a really important one. Once again, I told you, look here, Conservation Center. Okay. And this is going to sound like a conspiracy theory, guys, but I promise you it's not. The two colors, the reason I captured this is because to see the two colors here, there's a brick red and there's a mustard yellow. These are the two colors that they insist every single artifact has. So even going back, if you go to the Grand Egyptian Museum now, all of the artifacts, or even the Old Kingdom ones, the ones that you know they found these and they had no color on them, they've all been repainted this brick red, and all of the women have been painted this yellow. So they just have tons of these tubs. Yeah. Now, this could be a coincidence, guys. I have to put my hand up. They could have just been painting the room these colors. Yeah, they could have just been painted, just a coincidence that they just happened to be painting the room brick red and mustard yellow. But these colors, I'm promising you guys, when I show you the Grand Egyptian Museum, and maybe even later in this one, you're going to see these two colors everywhere. That is an absolute promise. And I'm not exaggerating. And when I saw them, I was like, no, that's not a coincidence. They're just wheeling these, and they had tubs and tubs. They had like tubs wheeling these brick red, mustard yellow, tubs and tubs of it in and out of the conservation center. And this is all locked off. And this is, the conservation center was almost the same size as the museum itself. Almost as good as the museum itself, I'm telling you. It's massive. And they just have it behind closed doors. So I was just sneaking pics wherever I could. But I promise you, we're going to see when I show you the artifacts. Now that just bear in mind, guys, now that I've put that color in your mind, brick red, you're going to see it loads. You're going to see it loads when I share it with you. There it is. There's the mustard yellow and the brick red. Two favorite colors, because they've got to make sure that everyone believes. By the way, do you remember this whole kind of like when I had the debate with Meta Bashir, and he's like, oh, you know, all the women are yellow, it doesn't come from nowhere. They have been busy repainting artifacts and making all the men literally brick red, and all the women this kind of like mustard yellow color. And these artifacts, a lot of them, you know for a fact that is definitely 100% not the original color. It's 100%. Yeah, exactly. The whole logic being everyone got sunburnt, you know, everybody got sunburnt. Absolutely ridiculous. This artifact in the box pose, the priest in the box pose, which is very common. I think this is like a pose that was kind of reserved for priests. I think I actually just took this photo to pretend that my camera, you can see the conservation center there. I think someone was looking at me, so I just quickly like did a little 3 degrees to the left shift. Like, oh yeah, this is a wonderful artifact. Wow. Just taking a photo of the artifact. And then I flip back again. I'm like, close up time. That's literally what I had to do. Back to the artifact. Anyway, let's carry on. So we've got this kind of like priest in this box pose. And then back to you guys again. I had to share this with you guys, man. I'm telling you, man, this conservation center was no joke. They were just wheeling stuff in and out of there. It was breaking my heart. I'm like, what the hell are you doing with these artifacts? Why do you need them? Why do you need to lock them in this room? And what are you conserving? It's like, how much conserving do you need to do to have like these rooms dedicated to? I don't understand. Really, I don't understand, man. Such an interesting box. Yeah, I was on my espionage, I can't lie. See, now that I've done my documentary, this is taken on a new light, because I know that this is one of the Apis steles. This is one of the Apis ball steles. And I didn't really, that's the one interesting thing about doing, when I do these kind of like deep dives of research, it kind of like opens up a new world to me. That's Ra, Usa, Ma'at, Setepin, Ra, Meses, Ramesses. So I'm not sure which Ramesses this is. I think it's the second Ramesses the Great, and this isn't Apis Stele. I don't think this one had any attribution, but it looks like they've just cut it out of. Not sure where they've taken this out from, but it's really interesting. Quick survey. How many of you are subscribed to me on my Down with the King channel? This is relevant, by the way. This isn't just a plug. But while I'm here, I'm going to plug anyway. I'm going to plug away. I'm going to quickly put it on the screen because it's actually something that I need to draw your attention to. So just quickly put in the chat. Let me know if you follow my Down with the King channel, which where I do the long kind of like podcast interviews. I'm going to quickly open up. So the reason I ask you that is because, thank you, those of you who says you are, you should be, and promise you this channel's dope, yeah? But the reason I ask you is because I had an interview with this lady here, Malence. Okay, I had an interview with this lady here, Malence. Brilliant lady, Malence Bart Williams, and she has a TED Talk. So this is the long version of the interview, but I've snipped out a couple of excerpts from it as well. And the reason I raised that is because she talks about the sacrilege of. So on the one hand, do you remember I came up from the Grand Egyptian Museum and I was like, obviously I was in awe at how much they've brought in there. And I mentioned the fact that it's like being in multiple temples because they've brought all of these artifacts. But she talked about the fact that it's very sacrilegious them removing these artifacts from the temples. And I had to agree with her. The way that they've arranged it just like a H&M shop. So it's very impressive to look at. But in terms of the ordering, everything's just kind of like slapped up. Oh, these two are roughly the same height. And they put them next to each other. But one of them's like flipping Ptolemaic period and the other one's Old Kingdom. And there's just like, there's no respect for the purpose of these things. And I raised that because just looking at this, for instance, you can see this has just been unceremoniously yanked from its position. And the problem is Egypt is not the type of country where you need to pull these artifacts out. Egypt doesn't have extensively corrosive weather. These are stone artifacts that have stood where they stand for thousands of years. In other words, they're not going to suddenly, it's not Britain. They're not going to suddenly corrode and disappear if they're not brought inside. So all of this for profit, you know, it's just for profit. Let's just bring them all into a big giant museum. Because even when I remember thinking to myself when they were initially making the Grand Egyptian Museum, I was like, well, what the hell are you going to put in it? I was going to say, in my mind, I was like, it's kind of pointless making a Grand Egyptian Museum. What are they going to do? Beg for their artifacts back from like British and American museums? Like, I was like, what? How much more artifacts could you put in? And then when I got there, I just realized, oh, wow, they've just literally stripped the temples. They've stripped the tombs. They've stripped them. So everything that the people, the Egyptians who had a connection, then when the Nubians went, it broke their heart when the Westerners came and they moved temples and they stripped steles and it broke their heart because they were seeing their heritage disappear. But this current kind of like this current dispensation of Egyptians that run the nation are so disconnected that they are the ones doing the stripping. And they are, well, as long as we benefit, as we the Egyptian people, as long as we benefit, that doesn't mean we did, our ancestors, my uncle, my auntie. It's like you're stripping the temples to put stuff inside a giant museum so you can make money, and you're going to claim that you respect the artifacts. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of despicable. And RJ just made out a very good point. Imagine if they, if people did the same to a mosque, how would they react? What a So what a good point. I'm going to put that on the screen. Imagine people stripping the mosque that they built, by the way, with limestone that they stripped from the pyramids. That part, never talk about that part, do they? The mosque that they built with limestone that they stripped from the pyramids. Imagine if someone took those mosques and then started stripping the artifacts in those mosques and stripping the things and just shoving them in museums for profit. They'll be like, how dare you? You're cursed. Your children will face the wrath. Like, you know. But the ancient Egyptian artifacts, uncle, auntie, they put uncle and auntie on display. No hesitation whatsoever. Sorry, I know it was a little bit of a side quest, but that just literally came to mind when I saw this. Please feel free to subscribe to Down with the King channel if you haven't already. There are some really good interviews. I'm not just saying that because it's my channel. It's a dope channel, I promise you. It's a really, really dope channel. I do stuff that I don't do on here. Okay, another scribe here. Wow, Brian just said there's a mosque on top of the temple at Luxor. Uncle, auntie, we're putting a mosque on top of your grave, uncle, auntie, your monument. Yeah. Another seated scribe there. And then baboon, one of the most sacred animals in ancient Kemet. And this is Ramesses II as a youth. Once again, I feel like when I saw this, that we're dealing with contoured nose there. It had lost balance somewhat, but it just felt like it's being contoured. But it's a beautiful statue nonetheless. It's actually really... He's kind of flanked by a Horakti behind him. It's really, really beautiful. The face of the Horakti is not original. Not much to add here, just letting you guys review this stele. Another priest here. Detail on this one is insane. So this one's holding a plate similar to the, and wearing the cut. So we know this is New Kingdom. Facially, I'm not sure who that is. I'm looking at the face. Does anyone recognize that face? Not sure who that is. That could be Ramesside lineage, maybe one of Ramesses' sons. But that is the cut is a pharaonic crown. My guess is this is 19th dynasty, holding the plate similar to the one we just saw of Akhenaten. But I'm not sure if this one was attributed. Yeah, it wasn't. It was just kind of like shoved in a cupboard with no plaque on it, so I can't tell you what it was. This is another lovely artifact, but it's just there. Would really have loved a plaque for that one. This is. So who's that? That's someone as Amen. I'm trying to recognize that. Does anyone recognize that face there? That's interesting. I wonder. Normally good, particularly when it comes to around New Kingdom. When I'm looking at this, I don't think it's Amenhotep the third. It's got a little Tutankhamun about it, but I don't think it's Tutankhamun. A beautiful little fragment here. See, as beautiful as this fragment is, something about it just looks too fresh, even though it looks amazing. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more, African native looking fragment, but it still just looks a bit too fresh. Something about it, I just feel like it's had a touch up. But either which way, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece, beautiful natural African hairstyle, very natural African looking fragment there. And a beautiful stele here, lots of really nice details in this one. Looks like they're bringing offerings. Really nice level of detail in this one. Someone said, is that where? Where's the dog? Oh, here. Yeah, that could be. Do I have another pic? Let me zoom out a little bit. It might be clearer. I'm not sure if that's a dog, RJ. And the cones are... What are the cones? I don't know. We've got like a coil around it. That's very interesting. Looks like it could be some kind of a dog there. Someone says seashells. Potentially. A bit large. But I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. So it'll be a big guess. Oh, here's a better picture. Less glare on it. Slightly better pic there. And then here. Oh, so no, yeah, there you go. It wasn't a dog. It was a ox or bull or cattle. RJ, there you go. Small ones, maybe like a baby oxen or a baby cattle. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, obviously that's a deer or gazelle on the shoulders. Okay, very worn down artifact here. So these ones, all these ones that I'm taking around boxes, yeah, means we're definitely not going to get any plaques. So this is all going to be our own analysis of what these are, because this is stuff that all this stuff that I'm taking pictures of is stuff that's being moved. Remember, I was talking about the fact that they're moving stuff in and out constantly. Okay, this is yeah, in and out constantly. So all this stuff was being transported either to or from those artifacts inside these boxes, artifacts around the boxes that still need to be boxed up. They're just constantly moving stuff. It's a lot. And like I said, none of it felt good to even behold. It was disconcerting. It just felt like, yeah, it wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice experience. I'm being honest with you. Look, there you go. There's a bigger picture so you can get an idea of them just carting stuff in and out. God only knows where. I don't think they're carting anything away to be destroyed. They're too greedy. It's my honest answer. There's no way they destroyed anything. They'd sell it before they destroyed it. Like I said, they're too greedy. So this is Armin. Someone is Armin. I'm not sure who. Alongside the Queen. I wonder if you got a plaque for this one. We should do. There we go. There's a plaque. God Amun and wife Mut. So it's just Amin and Mut. Now, here's my thing. I always think that, and I could be wrong with this, but so far, I think I've kind of been right so far on this assumption. And that's that I don't think they really ever just created depictions of the gods, so to speak. From my understanding, the gods were always invoked through living people. So if you saw a detailed depiction of, let's say, Ptah, or in this case, Amun, it's never just some figment of the ancient Egyptian imagination and they just created a face from there. You know, I'm going to just imagine what Amun looks like. It would have been a depiction of a person. So it's very likely that this depiction of Mut and Amun was a depiction of the living king and queen in the form or in the dress or in the manner of Mut and Amun. Tutankhamun did this regularly. He has numerous depictions of himself as Amun. And I think that would be the case. Our men would be depicted through a living person. I think anything that was created into a 3D statue would have been a living pharaoh invoking that ancestor through themselves, if that makes sense. And that seems to be so. Even when another way this is proven as well, you'll often see pharaohs depicted with the gods of their totem. Yeah, particularly like in the Old Kingdom, like Suhure's, he's in that. He's in that. He's got him, and then there's like a miniature version of him, and I can't remember exactly which god it is. But the point being is they have exactly the same face, because the god or the netta or the ancestor that was being invoked will be invoked through them. So it'll be a depiction of them in the form. That's why you see so many pharaohs in the Osirian pose. Okay, so this is, so for me personally, this is there's someone here. There's a character here, and the clue would be obviously the time period that this statue is associated with, and it will probably inevitably will normally look like the ruler of that time. Did I get a detail on there? There you go. So it was in the time. So group statue represent Amun and Mut seated on a throne with King Seti the First standing between them. So this statue, or yeah, would probably be a resemblance of King Seti himself. So King Seti, he said, is standing between them. So this facially, I bet you if you check out any other statues of King Seti, that I can already tell you Seti the First, this is a good match for his phenotype from the other depictions I've seen of him. So that would be Seti as Amun or Amen. Don't like saying Amun, it's Amen. Or Amen. So this Ram would suggest that this would be 19th dynasty again. I'm guessing this is one of the sons of Ramesses, Khem Turi or Khem Waset, who are frequently depicted with the ram. I'm assuming. This is a nice. Okay, no plaque for this one. Oh, there was a plaque. I don't know that it says I'm getting a little bit of Ramesses II there, but it didn't say exactly who he is. Got half a cartouche here. Min, Imin, Amen, Amen, Ra, Mes. Yeah, so this is Amen Ramesses or Amen Rames. What does this one say? Ra, Usa, Mat, Amen. Yeah, it just says Amen. They both say Amen Ramesses and then Ra, Usa, Mat. So I think it's just Ramesses II. Is there any etymological link between Ramesses and Ram? I said that'd be interesting to look into. Don't know if anyone's ever done that, look into that or that study before. Relationships between Ram and Ramesses. It's a very beautiful stele here, very detailed. So then you guys get the full detail of this one. Beautiful. Really nice. I'm sure someone one day will use this photo to translate this whole stele. And someone did rightly note that this is a funeral with a standing sarcophagi here, mourning women at the back, an offering. This is beautiful representation. Wearing leopard skins. I think that's Hafor. Or was it Bess? It's either Bess or Hafor around the neck there. Leopard skin. Not. I hope I got a plaque for this one. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. My twins. Spidey senses is tingling. Don't tell me I don't have a plaque for this one. There's no plaque. Oh my gosh, there's no plaque on this one. There was no plaque, but all right, so here's my twin theory. Wow. I think these are twins. And I've got a feeling I know who they are. But I can't share that theory until I've got more weight behind it. But this is a dope statue. Yeah, I agree. King Jam said this statues are fire. They are. These are absolutely dope. Wonderful to look at. Shout out everyone in the chat. All right. I think we hit the 2-hour mark and I'm feeling tired now. So I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it up. Wrap it up there, guys. Have you enjoyed it? I hope you've enjoyed it, everybody. I do plan on live streaming more often now, guys. Honestly, there's a few things I want to do. Actually, I actually do want to make live streaming a bit more of a feature. I'm actually thinking about how I could do kind of like a couple of day streams. So obviously when I'm with you guys, we tend to do kind of more this kind of stuff. This is the King's Monologue channel, obviously, and I'm doing a lot of obviously we do a lot of Egyptological stuff and carry on do what we do here. But also thinking about just doing more day streams where I can just get to talk more relaxed about other topics, such as topics that are on the King Mono Show channel. By the way, for those of you, since I've got 100 or so of you online at the moment, I'm just going to do a quick plug to everybody to say to you, please, can you sub to the King Mono Show channel? Yeah, I'm down at 1,700 subs. Get me to 1,800 by the end of the day, please. You won't regret it. I upload daily and the topics are fire and they're a lot of fun. So please, 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 if you're not subscribed to the King Mono Show channel, I need some of my TKM faithfuls to be there as well. You know, I'm kind of losing control of the comment section. I'm losing control from the comment section, guys, and I kind of need you guys to help me regain control. You know, it's important to do. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, please do jump on, man. Jump on, man. Yeah, man, amazing. So please do jump on. And yeah, but yeah, man. Hope you enjoyed so far the live stream. This is just this is not a goodbye. This is a kind of like that'll do for today. Let's carry on, you know. I'm thinking I'm gonna schedule one very soon, potentially even depending on what my Friday is shaping up to look like. I might even do one tomorrow. Okay, might even do one tomorrow. Mohammed or Mohammed, just chill out, brother. Just chill out, man. It's in here like, what you still today? You come from West Africa. You just thief, like, just chill out, bro, man. Like, who are you, man? Let's relax your blood clot onto you, man. Out here with your serious tone. Does it sound like we're talking that seriously, bro? Just relax, man. We're having a good time here, man. We don't need you bringing your violence and your aggression, man. Just chill out, bro. You just thief. Relax your blood clot, man. Talking about, man. Jeez Louise, man. Gosh. Just relax, man. It's good times in here, man. It's good times. Yeah, man, guys, I can't lie, man. I've had a very, very good time catching up with you guys. It's been a little while, man. So yeah, no, you're welcome. I'll show you a message as long as you know, behave yourself and you chill out, you know, and you come here anytime, you'll be educated. Yeah. At that point, guys, have a fantastic evening. I'm gonna call it a day. I'll post up a new video probably tomorrow during the day on the King Mono channel. Give my other videos a view. Liz, I appreciate it, and everyone else who got to come there and help me tame the trolls and get some control back. But everyone, have a fantastic evening, have a good night, and I'll see you all soon, man. Take care, peace.